Hey everybody, in today's Cooking with Caitlin, we're going to break down meal prep 101 in the most simplest of ways, and we're going to focus mostly around lunches. This has been a pain point that's been showing up for a lot of you. How do I build a quick, healthy, potentially on-the-go lunch? And so today I wanted to focus on specifically lunched boxes, and you don't need to have necessarily the bento perfectly portioned box to create a boxed lunch. That's really nice if you do have that, but you don't need it. In fact, I'm using Tupperware containers of all different sizes, so nothing needs to be fancy. The main reason that a lot of people do shy away from meal prep completely is because they have a couple expectations in their mind that are not necessarily true. Meal prep has to be boring. I have to eat the same foods over and over. It has to take up a ton of time and effort. I need perfectly portioned, similar size containers lined up to create a beautiful aesthetic, and that's just not the truth. So I'm gonna show you how to start out in a very simple way. And when I'm starting with clients in meal prep, we really break it down very simple. Start with 3 to 6 meals that you'd like to prep in advance to save you time during the week. Meal prep is mostly about time saving, and the weight management or weight loss or macro tracking factor really does become secondary. So this is key for living a busy lifestyle. If it's important to you to create a better output in your job performance, in the gym, whatever is motivating you to dig down deep and find that energy. So basic core component, staying fueled all throughout the week. This includes not skipping lunch. So first of all, anytime I'm building meals, I sort of set my stage around a protein-based meal and then fill in the gaps accordingly. So for today's boxed lunch meal prep session, I'm gonna focus on one star of the show, if you will. And this is a protein-based meal with other components, other macro components as well. But I'm gonna show you how I like to fill the gaps, so to speak. And the star of the show today is Waldorf chicken salad. And this is a recipe I've shared tons of times. This is a go-to lunch of mine. It's simple, but it's also delicious. And we're gonna recreate this in a couple different box lunch forms. So I'm using a whole wheat pita for my carbohydrate elements. And you can use, Dave's Killer bread or whatever bread you'd like. You can use crackers. You can use any type of carb element essentially. And I'm also doubling everything for my spouse. So keep in mind, we're gonna double it all. And you can also do this for your kids. Pita's a little stubborn. And the first thing I'm gonna do is fill my pita with some micros. So I've got some fresh spinach. I'm adding that in. And then I'm gonna add a couple scoops of my chicken salad. This recipe is so bomb. I use grapes. Some people prefer apples or raisins or craisins. I go with the walnut, grape, and of course red onion combo. And my rule of thumb for a perfect 40-30-30 macro split is to get about a little more than a fist size, so a little more than a quarter of your plate, your protein element. Start with the protein and build around it. And then you build your carbs, again, another fist size. So I'm equaling in my carb distribution. And then as a bonus, fill about half of your plate or more with your micros. So your leafy greens, your spinach, broccoli, other veggies. And then you've got a little bit of healthy fat in the walnuts and also in the avocado oil mayo. So I'm taking my pita, placing it in, and this is not going to cut it calorie-wise for me, so I'm gonna need to fill the gaps, so to speak. So I'm gonna fill them with micros. I've got some cucumber, I've also got some roasted broccoli. And essentially I'm taking foods that I have already prepped ahead of time for other meals and I'm repurposing them. So this is taking me no additional time whatsoever. And then I like to have, if you want to separate your dips and sauces, you can certainly do that. I'm gonna just add my hummus right on top for a little extra protein. I'm using about 1 tablespoon, so that's half the serving size. And this is gonna fill all of my calorie requirements, and it's gonna help me fill the gap. So the chicken salad and the pita was a fine meal all on its own, but for my activity and my personal physical stress that I put on the body, that's not gonna cut it. So that's how I've filled the gaps with that. And I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel for box lunch number 2, but I am gonna change it up slightly because we're human, we need consistency, but we also need variety. So for this, still the star of the show, chicken salad, and I'm gonna top it on top of my sweet potato. And that is delicious and fine and good all on its own. But I'm gonna go ahead and add some micros to this meal. We've already got our protein, carbs, and fat. So I'm gonna add some asparagus. And I've roasted this ahead of time. Some broccoli. And I'm gonna top this with some guacamole that I've pre-made. Again, probably about half a serving size, not even. So it's a little bit of extra fat, but not a ton. So anytime you've got a little bit of fat in your meal, that's great because we need fat for brain function and digestion. The biggest mistake I see when I'm working with clients and they begin to track is they'll take maybe a 7-day audit of what they currently eat on a regular basis and say, my carbs and my fat are out of control and I can't get close to my protein goal. So this is why essentially I recommend building your meal around protein, but still having all macro elements present. And in those portions, your energy will be within balance. So a thumb size of healthy fat is a really great rule to follow. Don't eliminate it completely, but definitely don't dump an entire half a bag of cheddar cheese on top of a salad, if that makes sense. The energy shift will be out of balance and you'll be looking for a pick-me-up and you'll be essentially maybe over your calories or over your fat. If you're over your fat goal and still under your calories, your body's still gonna be looking for more in the tank, but pulling from the wrong places. So you never want to put yourself in the position where your body is pulling from muscle or stored fat or other tissue for energy. You want to fuel your body to keep, first of all, to keep your body in a fat burning, muscle building state. If you're exercising, you want to get a return on that investment in the gym. And also you want to be sleeping better, hormones functioning, close to a state of maintenance. This is where our body thrives. For my final meal, I'm gonna take some leftovers, and this is a hummus pasta that I made last week, and it's still delicious and amazing. It's very low in fat, so it has my carb element, and it's got some micros. I've got tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, and peas. I'm gonna add a little extra broccoli to this to make it a complete meal. About half my plate is filled with my micros now. And I'm gonna add some extra shredded chicken that was left over from my chicken salad extravaganza. And then I need a little fat in here, so I could either pull some guacamole or some cheese. Today I'm gonna be using a fresh mozzarella cheese. My body prefers unprocessed cow's milk cheeses or goat's and sheep's milk. So I've got about a thumb size of my healthy fat in there. And this is perfect. I'm gonna double everything for my spouse. You can do that for your kids. And this literally took me an extra 10 minutes of my time, which is gonna save me a ton of time every single day when I can pull my lunch right out of the fridge. I don't have much time to spare in terms of deciding what to eat or putting something together. Even if I'm on the go, I can grab these 3 options. So that's what we've got going on in meal prep. Make sure if you take any of these ideas and run with them, I hope you do, share and tag me in a pic, and I'll see you next time.